It's great to be here. I've been in this room a couple of times in the last year, and usually George Stroumboulopoulos is sitting right here, and I'm sitting over there, like, on my hands, trying to restrain myself from jumping up and asking questions of whoever he's interviewing. So to be here today in this position is fantastic. My name is Trevor Haldenby. I look into emerging technologies. That's kind of what I do. And then I help figure out how emerging technologies could help people and organizations tell better stories about themselves or for their audiences. I'm also a researcher at OCAD University here in Toronto, and I study the future. You can actually get a degree in the future at OCAD University. I mention that because we put out a project last year that some of you in the room might have even been involved in called 2020 Media Futures. It's an exploration of how the Canadian content production landscape, particularly here in Ontario, could change over the next 10 years through disruptions, both technological and social. So you can download that project for free at 2020mediafutures.ca. I'm also the co-founder of a design collective called The Mission Business. And for the last 2 years, as Paul introduced, we've been working towards the production of an alternate reality game. How many of you know what an alternate reality game is? That's pretty good. So an alternate reality game, or an ARG to be quicker, is kind of like a video game that unfolds in real life. Instead of doing the puzzles on your TV screen or on your iPad, you run around the streets solving these puzzles and meeting characters and learning about the backstories of evil, fictitious corporations. That seems to be a recurring trope. And our ARG was called Z.TO. It was an 8-month simulation of what the end of the world might be like right here in the city of Toronto. And at the center of this story is our token evil corporation, a corporation called Biologic that is kind of like the Apple of the near future. But instead of building lifestyle computing, they're building lifestyle biotech products. They're taking technology in brave new directions that are really only limited by their greed, ego, and corporate values. You may also know them as the creators of the deadly man-made pandemic, the BRX virus, which apparently wiped out most of the population of Toronto last year. So this story, Z.TO, this alternate reality game, unfolded live and online. And it didn't start with a television show. We used Twitter to introduce all of our characters, the senior management team of Biologic that were played by an amazing team of actors skilled in improv, forum theater, and military simulation. We created Vimeo and YouTube profiles for Biologic and did this kind of corporate web series where they released a new video every few months that introduced their new vision of a brighter tomorrow, which was always being updated as this pandemic they created swept across the city. We created a graphic novel that introduced the backstories of all the characters and of the corporation. And we built an amazingly convincing corporate website that fooled quite a bit of people over the last few months that introduced all of Biologic's products and actually let you join the company as a member of their versatile intern program. We even built physical prototypes of the products that Biologic sells. And before you get too worried, don't worry, we definitely tested them on people first. Because the backbone of Z.TO wasn't a film. It wasn't a television show that spawned this transmedia franchise. It was a series of connected, interactive theater events that we ran across the city over the course of 2012. We ran a show at the Toronto Fringe Festival called Where You Become New, where for 13 nights we introduced people to Biologic's newest product, BioRenew, which happened to be sabotaged by an online terrorist organization. So everybody that thought they were getting this new product became infected with the deadly BRX virus. Biologic went on the offensive, trying to keep this under control, and ran a public health and immunization clinic during Nuit Blanche at the Church of the Holy Trinity right across from City Hall, where we immunized about 2,500 people. Let me tell you, if you're going to run an immunization clinic for a man-made pandemic, it helps to have friends in municipal government. And the story came to an epic conclusion at this event called Biologic Retreat, where we transformed the Evergreen Brickworks just north of downtown Toronto into sort of a luxury corporate refugee camp from the future. And then we evacuated hundreds and hundreds of Torontonians out there for the price of a premium theater ticket. And the more you paid, the higher up in this organization you could go. You could even join Biologic's board and make all the important decisions that we're talking about who gets to live and who gets the limited supply of vaccine that we have, and so on. So to frame all this, at present, it seems like an awful lot of the time, these transmedia stories that spread across media and involve fans as co-creators are created as spin-offs or introductions to a new network of content from a film or a television series. And during the production of Z.to, my co-creators and I asked ourselves over and over again, what would happen if we flipped this equation? What would happen if we used television to amplify and extend an alternate reality game or another kind of transmedia story? Now, there are a lot of alternate reality games out there already that sort of sound like reality TV shows. A World Without Oil sounds pretty realistic. I Love Bees sounds like something that I'm sure somebody's into. But I'm proposing a different kind of show. Let's call it alternate reality TV. It's a 30-minute variety segment that runs once a week and includes, through different segments, 6 different alternate reality games or transmedia campaigns that are going on right now. So you bring 6 different story worlds into one show and just sort of report in the language of that show, in the language of that story, what's going on in that world this week. We might start off with a guest musical performance from the cast of the amazing transmedia musical Prison Dancer, move on to a science and technology segment hosted by Biologic, and then maybe close with some fashion trends for the steampunker in all of us from the good people at Clockwork Watch. If we learned anything during the production of Z.to about alternate reality game players, it's they want to connect. They want to contribute. They want to co-create with the creators of the games they're playing. So imagine a show like that, a variety show, where all of the content, and this might sound familiar, especially in the Z context with some CBC folks, imagine a show produced by the fans of games for the players of those games. Some of them are bloodthirsty, I assure you. So coming back to that question again, what if we use television to amplify and extend alternate reality games? What if instead of thinking as television for a place to for stories to start before they spin off onto the web and graphic novels and all that fun stuff, we flipped the equation and looked at how television could be used to activate community, grassroots transmedia campaigns and alternate reality games that are being played already by thousands of people all over the country. Thank you.